session for the inaugural
What a great honor
address.
to be able to introduce for the first time ever anywhere the 45th President of the United States of America.
Yay!
Here I am. We're back, folks. I'm operating on extra strength Excedrin with added caffeine, fucking Monster energy drinks. And of course, in order to make it through the day, I had to go get another Jim Jones juice shot. Pow! I tell you what, folks, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. I hope you enjoyed this morning's Zero Dark 30 video because we're going to refer to it a little bit. And I think that kind of happens every day. I do Zero Dark 30, then I tie it into the afternoon broadcast. So be sure and watch everything because it all matters. As shit goes down, the balloons go up. They shoot them down and the lies go up. And I also saw the thumbnail for this afternoon's broadcast and put it on there. I just thought funny shit. Hopefully it got put on the afternoon one, but if not, it'll definitely be out there. Fucking F-16 with like a balloon and two UFOs like that. That's what they shot down, you know. Just unbelievable. What the hell is going on? Literally, folks, you can't believe a fucking word the government says. Who do you trust more? The Pentagon or Karine Jean-Pierre? Right? You have the dunderhead, Karine Jean-Pierre, and then you got the lipstick-wearing dinglehoppers in the Pentagon who said we can't rule out anything when asked if it was aliens. So dipshit comes out today, Karine Jean-Pierre, and tells us her lie. Quote, there is no indication of aliens or extraterrestrial activity with these recent takedowns. Look, folks, the alien thing used to be a fucking joke. Okay, the Lights Over Arizona. Look it up. Lights Over Arizona on YouTube. Had to do with that fucking alien spaceship that was like 2 miles wide. It was a big V-shaped son of a bitch with like 5 lights or 7 big giant lights on it. Flew right over the top of frickin' Phoenix. Filmed by tons of people with their camcorders. Because back then they didn't have smartphones. They used camcorders and it came through. The military said, no, we were dropping flares, and it's like bullshit. The governor came out to do a press conference on it, wearing a big rubber alien mask, like it was a fucking joke. And then later admitted, no, I saw the thing, and yeah. But they played it down. They played it off. You're crazy. You're nuts. For even using the word alien around anyone in political office. So now we have the dipshit. Like we can really believe her if she said yes or no. The dipshit comes out and starts talking about aliens and extraterrestrials. She lies, so it must be aliens. There's no indication, folks. The United States military years ago and United States military pilots came out years ago and they released film footage. Military, Department of Defense, Pentagon footage of fighter jockeys chasing these fucking whatever the hell they are. Are they from under the sea? Are they up at the North Pole with Santa? Are they coming from the dark side of the moon? Are they coming out of craters in Mars? Are they coming across eons and eons of light years to get here from some other fucking galaxy? I don't think we're going to get the fucking information. We certainly can't trust the information we get. But a lot of things are not adding up. I tell you what. You know what? The best thing for fucking Glenn Levitt hangover is some Ben Ryak. For medicinal purposes only. Woo! You know what? That's pretty fucking good. Okay, let us move on. We got a lot to talk about. We have a lot to prepare for, folks. I brought up a lot of very serious topics around the what the hell are we supposed to do with this topic of aliens, extraterrestrials, and the shit they're pulling now. But before I get there, get your questions down below. Get your questions down below, because a lot has happened today. More than just shooting down some aliens and then saying it was aliens, but it wasn't aliens. I'm waiting for Giorgio Tsoukalos. In fact, someone, Jolene Uman, make that a fucking thumbnail, right? He goes, I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens. Get this. The National Security Council spokesman, John Kirby. How many titles does this fucking creep have anyways? He's a Pentagon spokesman. He's a White House spokesman. Now he's an NSC spokesman. John Kirby, he was asked why President Biden is AWOL. In fact, folks, they don't use the term AWOL anymore. It's UA, unauthorized absence. Why is Joe Biden UA and has not publicly addressed the multiple objects that have been shot down over the United States and Canada? And while you're at it, while you're not asking him, ask him about the one that was over in China. Or as President Trump says, China. I want to know if Gigi Joe is hiding in Cheyenne Mountain or deep underneath Washington, D.C. or someplace else. Are they hiding him from the aliens? Are they afraid that Joe will sniff the aliens? Oh, shit, there we are. I'm not saying it's aliens, but it was aliens. I'm gonna fully credit Uman with that. Thank you, Uman. I'm not saying it was aliens, but I'm not ruling out it was aliens, says a fucking general in the United States military. Folks, I don't know what the fuck is going on around here. I really don't. I'm amused and I'm pissed off. And then I'm amused and I'm pissed off. And then I'm amused some more. And then, well, pissed off some more. What do we got here? Good golly. I mean, this is a great story. This is why you should never, ever give up your Second Amendment right. Because you can't trust the government to protect you. An armed thief looked to me in the picture like he had a shotgun. You know, Joe Biden says, you don't need an AR, you need a shotgun. Someone comes on your property, you go out on the porch, the balcony, you let off a couple of rounds with your shotgun, 12-gauge shotgun, and that'll do it, right? Well, this guy shows up at a hotel with a shotgun, and a hotel clerk pulls out her fucking handgun, and the dude boogies. He fucking jumped and ran. And there is a moral of the story. There's a moral of the story, and that is never bring an airsoft shotgun to a gunfight with a pissed off bitch. I bet she would have plugged his dumb ass. I bet she would have. I don't know why she didn't. Maybe she noticed it was an airsoft gun. Maybe she heard him whining like a little bitch, this big tough thug. Wow. You know, a lot of these, I don't even want to make excuses for them, what the fuck they think they're doing. It's America, Jack. It's 2023. The Supreme Court is recognized again and again and again and again and again and again. Every time it comes up, they have ruled in favor of the Second Amendment. There are more people walking the fucking streets today with, they're packing heat. And some of these bitches pack some serious fucking heat. Right, that movie from the 1980s with Stallone, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. You know, the little old chick, the Where's the Beef Burger King lady. You know, she's got like the 44 Magnum with the 12-inch barrel on it, pulling it out of her purse. Right, yeah, that's today. Talk about predictive programming. Anyways, God bless America, the Second Amendment, and don't ever, ever, ever give up on your rights. Because the moment you do, you're going to be victimized. And not just by criminals, folks. Not just by criminals, but by the government itself. That's how I roll with it. I really do. I just, it's incredible. Folks, let's do this. I tell you, a fucking again, a superstar, a super athlete, a superhuman being, someone's son, someone's love, someone who cared about this person. 17-year-old superstar football player. He did them both, folks. He died suddenly, and he was found dead. He did it. He got both of them. Now, they've ruled out that he died suddenly in his sleep following, drum roll please, a cardiac arrest. A cardiac arrest. I know exactly where the fucking blame lies, folks. Thank you, Mr. T, for that little thing there. I know who is to blame. Every time I see one of these, it's terrible when an adult dies. It is, whether they're in their 20s, or their 30s, or their 40s, or their 50s, whether they're male or female, whether they're American or foreign. It's tragic. Because we know that these super athletes out here, no matter how old they are, they're super athletes. There's no reason they should be having fucking heart attacks and strokes. There just isn't. 17-year-old, though, is a minor. He's a minor. The media is calling it a global trend that is disturbing. Yeah, I'd call it fucking disturbing. I really would. Right? When you... and this guy was he was a Canadian. His name was William Caron Cabrera. He was a student at Curé Antoine Labelle High School. Curé is a priest, by the way. Cardiac arrest. I'm just getting so fucking pissed over this. Every time I see some young man or young woman just dies, they're minors. They're underage. They've been intimidated. They've been pushed around. They've been tricked. They've been guilted. It's the fault of the government. It's the fault of the school. It's the fault of the mainstream media. It's the fault of the fucked up medical community. It's the fault of big pharmaceutical. And it's the parents' fault. I know sometimes the parents say, don't do it, and the kids go to school and get it anyways. I know that. I've heard about it. But these are fucking minors. They're fucking children. And they're being killed. And it's not just the super athletes. It's not just the high schoolers. Even younger than that. Right? I want to read a little bit from this article, and then I'm going to read some more of something completely unassociated. Right? This is a little bit about William. It says he was a quality athlete, everyone's friend, always there to make us laugh, and his departure will leave a great void in our big family of handball of all. Can we read on the Facebook page of the same organization of the Jesus Island? We'll take care of your gang of buddies and rest in peace. That is very personal. A lot of messages in there that I'm sure are inside messages. But folks, I'm getting sick of this, right? It's what do you do, right? What do you do? Right? So they bring up Jesus. This guy is going to a religious school. Well, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says that the Jesus Super Bowl ad makes, quote, fascism look benign. She is saying that the Super Bowl ad about Jesus Christ, a religious figure who didn't murder babies, who didn't start wars, who didn't kill people, who didn't throw people in prison, the guy who didn't commit every sin known to man, whilst someone like AOC and her ilk have. She says that, well, to say fascism looks benign is like saying fascism is no big deal, right? It's nothing. It's harmless compared to Jesus. Unbelievable. You want to talk about Satan's little bitch? Of course she hates Jesus. She is a fucking communist. folks. Young man dies. Lots of young men. We cataloged it. Young women, college, high school, younger, older, athletes, superstars, famous people, nobodies. And we're barely scratching the surface on how many people out there are dying. I'm not even touching any of the ones that are injured severely, well, except for Eric Clapton and the Congresswoman. And then, people that are mildly injured, intermittently suffering. Other people just have a reaction when they take it and they get better a day or two later. Remember that when people would take the Jim Jones juice? They would take it and their fucking legs would go numb or their arms would go numb or they go fucking blind and they're told it's okay, it'll pass. It just happens like that for a day or two. Literally, folks. It'll go away. Everything will be fine. Yeah, that numbness and tingling, that pain, yeah, it'll go away. It's cool. Give me a fucking break. Killing people in the name of, right? So, yeah. I have no doubt, folks. I really have no doubt that these people mean every word they say when they say they want to kill you. Look what they're doing, folks. Look what they're doing. And when I call that bitch a bitch and Satan's little helper, right, at the Super Bowl pregame show, just in case you didn't see it, there were images of little Satans spotted, filmed. They can't help themselves. This is who they are. They are a cult of death. And look what's happening. On top of all the devil imagery, now we've got the potential of UFOs, aliens. They're denying it. They're admitting it. I don't know what to fucking believe anymore. All I know is I can trust in myself. I'm going to go with Conan's dad's wisdom, right? He points to the sword and he says, this you can trust. Not man, not woman, not beast, nothing but your steel. Folks, whether the steel is your sword or the steel is your intelligence or the steel is your spirituality, make it hard and make it strong. And that will protect you, right? Don't trust anyone else. Check everything. Don't trust me. Don't trust a man. Don't trust women. Certainly don't trust dogs. They'll crap on the carpet and go, wasn't me. But you got to trust in yourself. At some point, you've got to trust your gut and know what the fuck is going on. You just do. Now, let us keep going. I think this actually qualifies, right, as top news. And you're probably wondering, wait a minute, John, all that other shit was really fucking important? The president's missing, fucking aliens getting shot down, people dying left and right, politicians being pieces of shit. No, this is even bigger news. The United States government has now issued a travel advisory. Is this about a resort in Mexico? No. Is this about flying a particular airlines? No. The travel advisory is all U.S. citizens are to leave Russia immediately. Immediately. All citizens are to leave Russia immediately. Well, the Prepared Mind News Network, we called it. We said World War III has started. We have got everything in play, but the most serious direct conflict between our military, NATO military, and Russia. I don't want to see it happen. I don't want to be right. But we called it and said World War III has started. We just don't have everyone on the battlefield trying to fucking kill each other yet. And understand this. When Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, well, that was it. Now we're pissed. It's time to go to war. How long do you think it took for us to go to war after they declared war? Do you think it was the next day? No, man, it took weeks to get there. Fucking weeks. Right? Understand, folks, they are ready for war. They want the war. It's just, are they willing to go to war? I'm surprised they haven't blamed Putin for these balloons. I'm surprised. I really am. I don't. I know after last night, as fucking blitzed as I was like, okay, am I going to wake up in the real world or am I going to wake up in some bizarre land? Well, it's both. It is the real world and it is bizarro land. I sure hope you've got your questions down below. It is that important. Now, this would have been a news story, a lead news story, not news story, any other day of the year. The United States is to begin testing of its first avian flu shot on chickens. That's right, folks. They're going to start giving chickens a flu shot. Thank you, Biden regime. Now, this is supposed to be because of rising fears about the avian influenza, bird flu, right, which has resulted in the deaths of millions of birds. I think they've destroyed the birds because they said, oh my gosh, we found bird flu here. And they found cerveza bug on a fucking goat, on a pheasant, and a papaya. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? Another pandemic caused by H5N1, the avian bird flu. Now get this. Here's a quote from the World Health Organization. The director himself, General Tedros. Why does he have the title Director General? Does he really think he's a fucking general? But they used all three of his names for this article, folks. Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus. Give me a fucking break. He says, over the past few weeks, there have been several reports of mammals, including minks, otters, foxes, and sea lions, having been infected with the H5N1 avian influenza. If it gets into minks, otters, foxes, and sea lions, why is it an avian influenza? Sounds more like it's a smelly little furry thing. I'm surprised it hasn't gotten into any of those angry beavers. And I mean, shit, we got minks, otters, foxes. Women like to wear those things. And of course, women usually have a big woolly beaver for when it's cold in the winter. So, and sea lions as well. We may as well just go with that. Now, here's what they're saying. Here's, again, what dipshit adds. The H5N1, that's the avian influenza, has spread widely in wild birds and poultry for 25 years. But the recent spillover to mammals needs to be monitored closely. For the moment, the World Health Organization assesses the risk to humans as low, well, until it's politically expedient for it to be high. Fuck these people. Folks, the World Health Organization also wants every nation on the planet to sign a little treaty of theirs, making the World Health Organization the ultimate authority in what actions should be taken in any type of disease outbreak. I don't believe any of them. I had beaver fever just last night. I'm fine. I have herd immunity. I have natural immunity. I don't fucking need their shot. Now, going back to giving the Jim Jones juice to commercial birds. This is something that's very disturbing. Do you wonder, because I've gone through this whole story, it's got the USDA, it's got the World Health Organization, and then there's this. Oh, here we go. If they can't give you the Jim Jones juice, they'll give it to your food and fuck your food up. promising strategy for developing mRNA-based universal influenza virus vaccine for human population, poultry, and pigs. Focus on the bigger picture. That's by Nino Rushalivili and Dmitry Papukashvili and Peng George Wang. That almost sounds like some kind of party drink. Dude, I'll have me a Peng George Wang, dude. Right. Folks, there it was. There it was. They want a universal mRNA booster for everybody, from your chicken to your pig. Hell, why not the bovine? Even though I'm sure that this hasn't shown up in the bovine, meaning cow. This is where they're going with it. This is what they're doing. They can get that shit in any meat and then have you eat it. Now, what I want to know is if they make it available, right? It used to be they put RBST in cows. They give them to dairy cows. RBST made them produce more milk, made their mammary glands bigger. Well, the mammary glands on humans we call jugs or tatas. And we ended up having girls age 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, as young as I think 5, developing breasts, boobies, because they had RBST in the milk and it was going through and into humans and causing, well, moobs on men and boobs on itty bitty girls. So then you could buy milk that said no RBST. They quit using it. Right? And then they've got hormones that they were giving chickens. Hormones to help them grow faster, bigger, meatier, juicier, so that they could produce food cheaper, faster, meatier, juicier. Now you go to I go to the store. When I look at the chicken, I find it hard. I'm like, I want some drugged up chicken meat tonight, but they all say hormone free, right? Hormone free meaning they're not giving them the hormones, right? No hormones. Right? No antibiotics. That's right. You can buy chickens that are antibiotic free. Good, right? I think we should be able to buy it. Will we be able to buy, folks, chickens without the clot shot? Do you think we can buy unjuicinated chickens or pork or beef? Or do you think they're going to just put it in everything and say, fuck, we don't got to tell you? How will we know? I tell you how I'll know. I'll look at the package of meat. And I'll take it out and I'll set it in the shopping cart. I'll put my hand on it and warm it up through the plastic a little bit. And if it starts fucking moving again or growing eyeballs or legs or some shit, yeah, then you know it's all fucked up. Can you look at the meat and see clots in it? Well, this is some other weird shit. Is that stuff is supposed to grow new veins in the heart? It's a fucking freak show. Now they want to feed this shit. They want to inject chickens. Inject chickens. I mean, how, you know what that costs? Just in labor. It's ridiculous, folks. They'll do anything to kill you. Do not have a fucking doubt about it. Back to World War III. Elon Musk has responded to tweets about the insanity of left-wing socialists who are pushing for World War III. Do you remember when Trump was president, how the left screamed and yelled, oh my God, Trump's going to start World War III. That was back in 2020. And now the crazy lunatics are screaming, we need to start World War III, as Biden pushes and pisses off and antagonizes Russia again and again and again. They're doing everything they can to antagonize and instigate war. Does any of that make any sense to you? Unbelievable. Well, Elon Musk he's learning. He is learning that America is full of fucking morons. Who would want to be associated with the lunatic left? that is begging for war, blowing up pipelines. Unbelievable. And they're out there, folks, all these left-wing idiots. They want this. They're just, these are the same people, by the way, these leftists that were just fine with over $5 billion in damage done to our nation by Antifa and BLM. But through a raging fit, when a couple hundred Republican protesters were assaulted by police who used flashbang grenades, smoke grenades, tear gas, right, chemical agents, batons, and started beating the fuck out of everybody. Then they called it an insurrection. Unbelievable, folks. Elon Musk, well, he's kind of learning that the conspiracy is real, that evil exists. And like Bruce Willis from Die Hard, I say, welcome to the party, pal. Elon says, quote, we will not enable escalation of conflict that may lead to World War III. And then he told off, apparently, Scott Kelly, idiot astronaut, and actually told him to quit swallowing the media BS. Well, I tell you what, folks, these people on the left are a bunch of sick, perverted fucks. They all line up to get a mouthful of whatever they can and swallow it all. And that's how I feel about them. So let's do this. It is now time for Ask John Live. If you're a member of the preparedmind.club, a premium member, or a premium member of subscribestar.com, $2 a month. I see you. $2 a month is it. Some people donate more. $2 a month gets you on Monday through Friday. And we can do this. All right. Thank you again, Mr. T, for all the great stuff. Jolene says we have a shit pile of questions. Mikey G says, derailed train in New Palestine, Ohio. Supposed to be emitting mustard gas like World War I, killing livestock, wildlife, and outdoor pets. Well, I'll tell you what, Mikey. Mustard gas is a combination of, I think, ammonia and chlorine. You put those two together, it gets pretty nasty. It turns kind of a yellowish color. And yeah, it's pretty easy. That's why you don't combine bathroom cleaning products. Because if you combine ammonia and something with chlorine, you just might earn yourself a trip to the fucking hospital. But that's why they call it mustard gas, because it's yellowish. And it wouldn't be surprising that they would put two chemicals together on a train that could create noxious fumes. Now, ammonia all by itself is enough to chase me away. When I smell that shit, I've never liked it as a kid. Never liked it when I was developing blueprints as a teenager. That was one of my jobs. I worked at a structural engineer drafting firm, and they used ammonia development for blueprints. And that shit will make you run when it hits you in the face. But yep, killing animals, killing livestock, killing pets, messed up scene. And they're telling people, it's fine. It's fine. You can go home now. I'd be like, I don't think so. All right, Jolene, who else do we have on? I know we got a lot of questions. I've got more stuff to talk about. But you guys, it's now time for you. Jolene, who is next? It is Do Stuff with Nikki. She says they'll put it in every meat, etc. And the big companies and powers that be will lobby to not have it labeled. So we will never know, I think. It was a years-long fight getting them to label non-GMO. Now, I remember the non-GMO fight, or the GMO fight, if you will. Now, here's the deal. Anything they put in food, they have to tell us about. I guess they're saying, well, it's just part of the chicken. It's not an additive, right? They're going to play that game. We're definitely going to have to go after them starting right now. If there's ever a reason to have months and months and months and months and months worth of protein, meat, this would be it. Shit has hit the fan. Yeah. Is there a shortage of meat at the store? No, but can you trust it? Or is it already out there? Have they been testing it in certain markets? You don't know. You know what I'm counting on? Right? Get ready for this, Nikki. Get ready for this. Ooh, man. Get ready for this, all of you guys. If it's a clot shot for humans, if it's a fucking heart attack maker, if it's a stroke maker, a seizure maker, a neurological fucking brain buster, if it's a pulmonary fucking parasite, they start shooting chickens up with it. They start shooting cows and pigs up with it. Guess what's going to happen to them? Done. The problem isn't going to be you and me trying to eat that shit. The problem is going to be the animals in the barnyard fucking dying. What's the other problem with it in humans? Well, the Jim Jones juice causes reproductive harm. Women's menstrual cycles are messed up. People are finding themselves to be sterile. Women aren't able to hold, right, a baby to full term. A lot of problems with that. Mainstream media, politicians, educators, doctors, anybody, they're not talking about it. Where the fuck are they? It's going to be up to us. That's why I say prep to action. Get prepared. Then take action. Call or write your congressman and say, we see what the fuck they're doing. If they can't kill us with it, they're going to kill our food with it. Oh, sorry, America. We didn't know there was a problem with the mRNA thing. We didn't know we would kill all the chickens and kill all the cows and kill all the pigs and kill all the turkeys and kill all of the farm fish. We didn't know. We thought we were doing it right. Oh, but don't worry. We've got bugs for you to eat. You bet. We got some fine cricket powder. We got some great slugs. We have just some delicious beetle grubs and the most succulent cockroaches, huh? Here we are again. If you have the guts, the gall, the temerity to live, they'll feed you bugs for it. Cerveza sneeze. Here we are. Literally. They're trying to poison us. They're poisoning the fucking air. They're poisoning the food. Are you prepared? I'm going to have to go buy a fucking freezer now. A giant freezer. To put a bunch of meat in. Having that little cute freezer I have just, take care of me for a couple of months. I don't trust these fuckers now. It's not that I ever trusted them. It's just they are going to all ends. All fucking ends. Thankfully, I have a wonderful stash of Spam, a terrific tonnage of tuna. And I guess I'm going to have to go buy a shit pile of Swanson's canned chicken. This is fucking stunning that they're going to do this. All right, Jolene, who is next? Stepping up, we got Bonnie Blue 2A, and she's got a great statement. I know it's to be true. I know it's great. She says, in 2020, they kept us distracted with the Wuhan flu. In 2021, the jibbity jab. In 2022, Ukraine. And now 2023 distraction is balloons and shiny objects in the sky. Do not be hypnotized. Have you noticed how Bonnie just laid it right out there? One small paragraph. Every year, they've been fucking with us, and they have their big thing. Yeah. Cerveza bug, Jim Jones juice, war, and now aliens. Now, in my discussion earlier, I did not bring up Wernher von Braun, the head of the U.S. rocket program after World War II. He was responsible for the Mercury project, the Gemini project, and then the Apollo project. Then he went to work for private industry in the rocket field. He has a very interesting quote on his gravestone. Maybe Uman will share it with us. But Wernher von Braun said they're going to go through all of these steps. All of these steps. They'll get to the asteroid, and ultimately it'll be a fake alien invasion. And here we are, right? The flu, the vax, war. They've already pulled the, we're going to die from asteroids. We're going to die from an EMP. We're going to die from coronal mass ejection. Now they're revealing the alien thing. And by the way, Wernher von Braun, who led NASA and led them out of the dumbass ages into space in the great space race against the Soviet Union. Well, he was a Nazi SS officer, Wernher von Braun. He was part of Project Paperclip. He surrendered to the man who Jim Garrison accused of being part of the JFK conspiracy. That's right. Clay Shaw is the man that Wernher von Braun surrendered to in the forest outside of Peenemünde. Learned that a few years ago in my digging around. Small world, isn't it? Yep, he arranged for himself to be rescue/surrendered. And he made some interesting claims about aliens, the nature of space. His own math and his own stuff said there's no way you can get to the moon. Not going to happen. Got to have a rocket the size of the Empire State Building to make it there. It was a big fucking rocket the Apollo program had, the Saturn V. But very inefficient, not enough lift. It was all a fucking lie, folks. What are they lying about today? What lie will they keep us busy with? Right? Are we going to have the lie of World War III and go into that Orwellian line of shit? We're at war all the time. We're in continuous war. That's right, folks. 1984, continuous war. The world at war with each other, and nobody knew the facts or the truth. It was just all propaganda used to control people. Let's do this. Let us move on if we shall. We have U.S. says, asking why the masses don't see something is like asking what a buffalo herd's motivation is as it goes stampeding off a cliff. Oh, yeah. I tell you. If you've ever seen a stampede. Stampede, Earl. Yeah. It's just everything's fine, then it's not. And the herd goes. And what directs the herd? It's quite interesting what directs a herd. And will a herd go right off a cliff? Now that I've never seen. I know lemmings will run off a fucking cliff, but maybe that's why the buffalo that lived in the Great Plains. There are no cliffs there for them to go dive bombing off. But yeah, I mean, if you can't see past the butt in front of you because of dust and the butt that's in front of you, you're just going to run top speed wherever that butt in front of you leads. And you could go right off a cliff. And I think that's what's happening. The masses, folks, don't think. They follow. They don't plan. They react. They don't prep. They don't prepare themselves mentally. And we are seeing the consequences of that. All righty, let us see what is next. We have Uman says von Braun's gravestone has Psalm 19:1 on it. Psalm 19:1 on it. Said the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament sheweth his handiwork. There you go. Thank you, Uman, very much. Just an interesting thing to have on your gravestone, is it not? All right. Let us go a little further. See who we have next. Jolene says, we've got George. He said, all preppers should hit the gym, swim, hike with a 20-pound bag every other day. I tell you what, you may not be able to do the gym or swim or hike with a 20-pound bag every other day, but you ought to do the most that you can. I get done with the show here. And I plan on doing some exercise. Right? It's really necessary. Saturday, I did just a ton of work. It turned out to be like cardio powerlifting. I wondered if I was going to be injured and fucked up. I wasn't, thankfully. But tell you what, I feel better for it. If you exercise on a regular basis, you're going to feel better than if you don't. And there's going to come a point, I think, and it's always been this way in my life. When I don't exercise, I feel worse. And then when you need to use your body, it's not ready for it. It can't handle it. Okay, let us see what we got next. Great advice. Thank you very much. And now we have Boomer. And he says, crazy time. If I could hop into a time machine and go back to the 50s, I would in a second. I would too, Boomer. In a freaking heartbeat, I'd go back to the 1950s. What was in the 1950s, folks? An America that you could rely on, that you could count on. We knew that communism was bad. We knew that freedom was good. We loved the flag. We loved our nation. We loved our family. Right? Yeah, there were problems, but I would rather go back to the 1950s and deal with those problems than deal with the shit we have today. In the 1950s, was anyone trying to kill everyone? Well, probably the people who were most likely to try and kill you were the doctors. That's right, the doctors. What am I talking about? Doctors used to recommend cigarettes to help you relax, to help keep you skinny. Right? Cigarettes, they actually promoted smoking. This is one more reason I say, why do you trust doctors? Why? Because they have a degree, they went to school for a long time? Well, because they're great authority figures. They just seem to know everything. Yeah, well, go talk to a cop. They seem pretty certain also. Go talk to the mainstream media. They seem to know everything there is to know about anything. Right? Unbelievable. It is a crazy time, and I'd like to go back to the 1950s. That would be a trip. Can you imagine that? No cell phones. No cell phones. No way for anyone to get a hold of you. What a different world it must have been. All the women were women, and all the men were men. There wasn't a whole lot of question. Fruitcakes, well, they existed, folks, but they stayed in the closet. And if you lied in government and got caught, your career was over. I would like to go back to the 1950s and warn the world about colleges being used by the communists to sneak into the country and start indoctrinating everybody. I think I could make a difference. But folks, they're sneaky. Up until just last year, or maybe the last 2 years, communists lied about who they were. They did. The communists and the socialists, they lied. I'm not a socialist. I just want everything that a socialist wants. Right? They'd lie about it. Look what they're doing. They're fucking liars. That's why I think lying is considered immoral. Because look what it does when it's used by powerful people. It destroys shit. All right, let's see who we have next. We have Mr. X. He says, John, my grandpa said this to me growing up. When the government comes knocking on your door and say they're there to help you, you need to run the other way. I hear you, Mr. X. Totally. Don't answer the door. Why should you? Oh, don't worry. If they have a warrant for you, they'll kick it down. Literally. It's unbelievable, folks, what's going on. You can't trust them. Government says we're here to help you. They're lying. Government says it's not aliens, they're lying. Government says it is aliens, they're lying. Government says don't trust Russia, they're lying. Government says do trust Russia, they're lying. Every time, I mean, the best way to tell if a politician is lying is if their lips are moving. That's how you know. All right, Mr. X, thank you very, very, very much. Jolene, who do we have next? We have Bonnie Blue 2A. She says, this food farming is real. You need to know from whom you are buying your meat. GMO meat is no bueno. It is no good. It is bad. GMO meat. Food farming is real. In other words, what they're doing to our food supply. It's real. They're drugging the animals. I really recommend, if you can, get your food, get your meat from a local butcher. In fact, ask the local butcher where he gets his meat from. Now, when I was in extreme Northern California, there was actually two old-fashioned butchers. One was still in a corner store of a market. Had shopping carts that were big enough to hold 2 grocery bags. Itty bitty little shopping carts. Yeah, but they would get local cattle and they would slaughter them and they would butcher them and they would sell them. Local cows. They would also process people's deer and elk and moose or whatever else you could catch and take in there. Still, that's as good as it gets. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, that's good. On the other end, you don't know what you're getting. Is it real beef or is it Franken meat? Did they add a coagulant to whatever they swept up off the floor and call it meat? You don't know. We really can't trust these people anymore. This is going to sound fucking gross as fuck. But sometimes I get meat and I look at it and wonder if that's human. Because I don't trust these people. I really don't. I don't trust them. I mean, I can't imagine what would happen if Kroger or Jewel or Albertsons got caught, right, selling freaking human meat. I think there's been stories of, I think it was McDonald's. This is a long time ago. It was McDonald's or maybe it was Taco Bell had fucking kangaroo in the meat. I mean, they did DNA tests on stuff and we're like, you're going to be surprised at what we tell you's in there. In fact, I don't even think Taco Bell uses meat. I think everything they have is, soy protein disguised as meat. Unintended consequences, folks. Let me tell you about something I learned when I was just a young man. They're talking about milk. And this is kind of along the line of the RBST thing. What they found was that baby milk or baby cows, they took a lot of milk to raise them. So a mama cow would have the baby, then she'd have all this milk there, but she would have to feed the baby. And the more that baby cow drank, the less was available for human consumption. So they decided they were going to make cow formula. And they wanted to use, that's right, vegetable oil. They wanted to make a vegetable oil-based cow food to feed baby cows. And you know what happened to those baby cows? They died because the baby cow was designed to be fed cow milk. The same way human babies are supposed to be fed breast milk from a woman. That's the world we live in. It's the world we live in. Do the very best you can to get good food, folks. It's going to come down to it. When things get really nasty, you'll be lucky to have any food. This is the game they're playing with this. Don't worry, folks. Bill Gates will have the best food available. Don't worry, Warren Buffett will have all the creamiest real ice cream he can handle. And don't worry, Joe Biden, I think, who knows what he is going to eat, but I'm sure it's going to be disgusting. If you would, let's see what we have next. 1 second here. Okay. All righty. Christine Behana says, I remember Monsanto saying they were going to solve world hunger in 10 years. And they said that decades ago. Africa was the first country to kick them out. Oh, yeah, Monsanto with their GMO vegetables, their GMO plants. I remember when their shit DNA out of a GMO field would blow into another field and pollinate other plants. And then Monsanto would sue those farmers for stealing their DNA. And I said at the time, those fucking farmers should sue Monsanto for contaminating their crops with their genetically modified crap, GMO, genetically modified organism. Don't worry, folks. They're going to do everything they can to fuck us over. And yeah, countries that kick them out. Mexico. Follow me here. Mexico said, we don't want your GMO corn. The Latin culture from Mexico South loves their maize, their corn, their tortillas, everything that they make out of corn. It is a corn-based economy, or at least the dietary portion of it. Whereas up here, we're more flour and rice. You know, we're more wheat-based. Down there, they're corn-based. Okay. We got Chin Music checking in. He says, John, watch how fast the wet narrative changes when these college pansies start getting drafted. The war narrative. I'm in youth sports, man, and I can promise you they can't make it through basic. Oh, I hear you, man. Yeah, the narrative is going to change, how they want to go to war. Now, see, here's the deal, though. Last time we had a draft, it was Vietnam. And if you were going to college, that's right, you didn't have to be drafted. It was a way to get out. So that's why they called that a poor man's war. But yeah, these people making it through basic training, right? Not buying it. Right? Just not buying it. That they don't know. See, they think it's going to be a drone war. They think, well, we'll just have a nuclear war. That'll be fine. They think that we'll have robots fighting for us. Robot tanks, robot planes. Everything is drones, and drones. They don't realize that someone's going to stick a rifle in their hand. Okay, Jolene, let's keep going. We got 3 more questions. Bam, bam, bam. Let's see what we got. We got Uman. He says, there were 2 additional train derailments today. That I did not know. One in NRE, South Carolina, and another in Houston after hitting a truck at a crossing. Looks like ethanol in South Carolina, hazardous chemicals in Texas. Well, here's the deal, folks. Any train derailment's a fucking mess. Because trains are the cheapest way to send bulk chemicals, bulk resources, whether they're mineral or chemical, refined or raw, coal, fuel, oil, chemicals, send them by rail because it's the cheapest. And so when a train derails and shit gets everywhere, look out. It's not going to be a pretty thing. Not at all. Thank you very much, you man. Who is next? We got Mr. X. He says, John, do you think the government shows what the left hand is doing when you can't see the right hand is doing? They show us what they want us to see. That's what's going on. They show us what they want us to see and nothing more. They lie to us when they have nothing to show us that we would agree with. Right? They're like, hey, we don't want to show what's in the right hand, so let's show them what's in the left. And like, fuck, we don't want them to see either of those. Then they make up a lie. Right? They keep us distracted. They make another event to happen, right? So they keep giving us shitty events to follow. Pandemic, Jim Jones juice, war in Ukraine. Now we have alien balloons. What the fuck is that all about? Well, they're trying to feed us bugs. That's why I say this is a multifaceted. It is an every facet war. If anything can go wrong, they're going to make it go wrong. All right, Jolene, who do we have next? It's Mr. X. He says, John, can you research this after Germany? How many Hitler scientists came back to the United States to work? It was in the thousands, a couple of thousand. I can't remember if it was 3 or 5 or somewhere in between, but it was thousands of Hitler's people, whether you call them scientists or whether you call them Secret Service. There goes Uman. He says, looks like 100 rocket scientists and 1,600 others. There were medical scientists. There were rocket scientists. There are other physicists. All the sciences, right? All the sciences. But there's a huge, a huge swath of Nazi SS officers who were in intelligence. Prior to World War II, we had the OSS and the ONI, Office of Strategic Services, I think, and then the Office of Naval Intelligence. They got turned into after World War II. It became the CIA, and it was largely inhabited by Nazis. They kept them over in Europe, folks, and they did bring them back here as well. They used them and went after the Russians right away, the Soviets, after World War II. We went right from World War II into the Cold War. Folks, what a shit show. Thank you for joining me here. Thank you for supporting the Prepared Mind Network. Thank you for being a premium member on the preparedmind.club and subscribestar.com. And remember, right at the preparedmind.club, there's a lot more there than just signing up for the premium service. There's products, there's advice, there's all kinds of information, and please share it with others. Sharing that internet address right up there, very important, so people can wake up. Right? I can't go back to the 1950s and wake people up about what's going on in colleges, what's going on in the Democrat Party. I can't wake them up in the 50s, but I can wake people up today and say, you better get prepared, because chance favors the prepared mind is yours. Godspeed, Semper Fi.